Hey y'all, how you doing tonight? I am doing alright. Tired tonight. Been a long week. Two weeks ago, I had a really big freak out. About 10 o'clock, I went to get water to finish up watering my tarantulas, and my water came out brown. So, of course it's Friday night and 10 o'clock at night, and there ain't shit you can do about it at that point at night. So, like I said, I was fucking freaking out really bad. My brain, being what it is, of course, goes from, oh shit, I got dirt in my water, to, oh fuck, I'm gonna have to drill an entire new well. And of course, since this is something that's never happened before, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, because of all the work that's going on above my house with the bulldozers, and having been hearing them hitting the rock ledges repeatedly all day, every day, I'm like, okay, great. They have fucked up the aquifer that supplies my water, and probably my brother's water too, because his well and my well are on the same aquifer down there. So, I go from scared to worried to angry. Of course, being 10 o'clock at night, my brother's already asleep. So I end up calling my youngest, and excuse me, sorry about that. And he was able to help calm me down, and stop me from catastrophizing so much. A few days later, I was talking to Becca, and she's like, we were talking about that. She's like, yeah, he was like being really forceful. And I'm like, yeah, I was freaking out pretty hard, and he kind of has to be that way with me when I get in that kind of mind frame. She's like, wow. I'm like, yeah, I kind of need a firm hand when I'm freaking out, and he's really good at that. So she's like, she was really surprised at how forceful he had to be with telling me, how to, with calming down, and focus on the here and now, and the steps to do, over the next couple days, and all that kind of stuff. But but it's what I need. Otherwise, my mind does tend to spiral and go to those severe what ifs, and my mind won't let go of those really bad what ifs if I don't get yanked back out of them. So, my kids are really good at helping me with that. So I talked to Jonathan for a while, and I had figured Chris was asleep, but he wasn't. So I gave him a call and let him know what was up. And then the next morning, I was able to talk to my brother to let him know what was going on, and to let him know that if something was happening with the aquifer going on, that he might need to get somebody up to his house to check on his water. And when he started doing the remodeling of his house, he needed to work with his septic system and remodeling his kitchen and everything. So one of the guys that he was a year or two behind me in school, he has his own well drilling company, and that's who he used for his stuff. So my brother ended up calling him that morning, and his name's Dennis, and Dennis was asking my brother questions about my well and everything, and of course my brother didn't know answers to those questions. So Dennis was like, look, have her give me a call. So I did, and Dennis was like, look, it's very, very slim chance that it's for anything to do with what's going on in the land above you. It's probably just the fact that it's a 45-year-old well here, and God only knows the last time it's been cleaned, if ever. This was Saturday morning, so he's like, what you need to do is get a hose, hook it up to one of your outside spigots, and let it run. And you let it run until you lose water pressure. Turn it off, let the water pressure build back up, and then let it run some more. And then he was like, and then it should start showing signs of clearing up. So that Saturday, I ran my water for about 7 hours. And that, I lived at Virginia Beach for about almost 25 years for the most part. And when you live in a city, you have to pay for your water. So that, running my water for fucking 7 hours straight, that hurt. That was not easy for me to do by any stretch of the imagination. But I did it. And the only reason I turned it off was because it was getting dark out. So I turned it off. Never once did the pressure go down or at all. So by the time I got up Sunday morning, I turned it back on. And I ran it again until I lost pressure. So that's when I turned it back off. Let the pressure build back up. When I did turn it back on, the water started out kind of clear, but then it went to really, really muddy brown, and it kept fluctuating between the two. It would go from kind of clear to really muddy, and back and forth throughout the day. So Monday morning, I ended up having an appointment in Radford at fucking 7:30 in the morning. So I had to be out of here a little after 6 that morning, so my ass was exhausted. Got there, got back home. On my way home, of course, I had to stop at Walmart to get frickin' a huge thing of bottled water, because when Dennis told me about all this, he's like, it could take up to 2 weeks to get this fixed, and we're talking 2 weeks with no water for washing myself or cooking anything. So, I had to get a big thing of water. So I finally got home and I got hold of Dennis, and he was like, I told him what was going on, and, I was like, the water's, still brown, but it's not muddy brown. So he's like, all right, what we need to do now is, let it run for an hour and then off for 2 hours. So since I was freaking exhausted, I turned the water on, set a timer for an hour. When that went off, I came in, when it went on, I turned the water off, set the timer for 2 hours, and as soon as I set that timer, I laid down and went to sleep. And I did that all day long, on for an hour, off for 2 hours, and in between those timers, I slept all day long on Monday. And then I did the same thing on Tuesday, but by the end of Monday, it was almost fully clear. So by mid-Tuesday afternoon, I was ready, I was able to turn it off, and it was back to normal. So, instead of it had to actually taking 2 weeks of, stress and messing around with it, it only took, thankfully, 4 days. But it was hard, and, I followed Dennis's instructions to a T, because I'm not a professional. He is. So he told me what to do. I did it, no matter how against my normal inclinations it went. And, by Wednesday, I was able to take a shower and get back to my normal routine of things. So, sheesh. But let me tell ya, I was freaked there for that night. Like I said, that was 2 weeks ago. And that was not fun. And then, of course, the very next day, which was that Saturday, I don't have a hose that's not, dry rotted. So I asked my brother if I could use his hose, and he's like, yeah, but my oldest Christopher, he's like, he gave me a call, and I was telling him what I was needing to do, and telling him I needed to go get water, and, at that point, I literally had $14 to my name to get drinking water and water to keep myself clean and everything. So my son and daughter-in-law were like, all right, download Cash App. And see, I'm not one that likes to download any apps that are like that, but they're like, look, we've used it before. Download it. We'll we'll send you some money through Cash App. You can get it into your account and use it to get your necessities. And I thought they were going to send me like $50 maybe, because that's all I needed. That's all I would have needed. But they sent me way more than that and made me cry. But instead of being my normal self and my old self, I would have immediately sent it back to them. But they know how hard I've been struggling lately. And as Christopher said, they're fine. They're doing fine. And the money that they sent me, they're not going to miss it. So I shut my mouth. I told them thank you very, very much. And I put the money to get what I needed. I used it to pay bills. And I did not revert to my old habits of feeling guilty at accepting a gift that they gave, because it was a gift that they were giving freely to me. I did not ask them for money. They just knew I was struggling. They knew I would make it on my own. I had a plan to get money. I had a plan to take care of everything on my own. But they helped me. And all the therapy I've been doing has allowed me to shut up, accept the help that my kids give to me, because they're giving it to me because they love me. Not because I'm a burden to them, but because they love me. And they know my life has not been easy, and that I do struggle. So, and they know that I'm not going to ask unless I absolutely have to. So when they give when they, I'm not going to reject their gift, because they're doing this because they want to. And they wouldn't do it if they couldn't do it. I know that. If they were struggling financially, they would not do these things for me. So that's one of the biggest things I've been able to change. About myself in all my therapy. And I did it again today. Today I went and got a haircut. And I called my cousin Tina. I was like, can you do a haircut for me today? And she's like, sure. She's like, actually, I don't have anybody until I've got nobody scheduled till 11, and this was like a few minutes after 10 that I called. And I was like, she's like, can you get up here? I'm like, yeah, I just need to go to Food Country and grab some cash. And she's like, no, 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 no. How about you bring me some green beans and I'll give you a haircut? She's like, we used your green beans you gave us last time at Thanksgiving and they were absolutely delicious. I'm like, I'll bring you green beans and salsa. So, she has told me now that, and see, she has her, this is her business, is haircutting. And whenever I get a haircut from her, I think it's like, I don't know, $14 for a haircut, but I always give her a 20. I mean, that's her business. So of course I'm gonna give her a tip. I mean, she's got bills to pay. So, me doing canning, I do canning just because I enjoy it. It's no skin off my teeth to give my canned goods to people. And I give my canned goods because I can, and because I love to give my canned goods away to people. But she was like, look, you've spent time and money on your canned goods, so you give me canned goods, I give you a haircut, period. So whenever you need a haircut, you bring me some green beans and salsa, I'll give you a haircut, period. Stop, and don't you ever feel bad about it. And I did the same thing. I'm like, all right, I'm shutting my mouth. I'm not saying a word. If that's what you would like, then that's what we'll do. I'm not going to fight if she would rather have my home canned goods than money, then by all means I will gladly give them to her. And if she would much rather give me a haircut to thank me, then I'm not going to say no, because God knows I can always use a haircut. So I am doing a lot better. 2 weeks ago yesterday was my last appointment with my therapist before her maternity leave. I'm thinking by now she has probably had her baby, hopefully. I won't be seeing her again probably until the mid to end of October. So I'm looking at this time without, talking to her, as kind of my trial run of dealing with this time as hopefully, dealing with everything as, like I said, my trial run of hopefully by the end of the year being able to stop my therapy altogether. I'm handling everything much better. I've got so many more tools to use to deal with things. I've got my kids, of course, and I am no longer reluctant to reach out to my boys like I used to be. I used to never call them because I always felt like I would be a burden to them. And I'm not like that anymore. I know I'm not a burden on them, and that they are more than happy to pick up the phone and take that time to talk with me and help me if I need that, you know. So, you know, the fact that I had that that issue come up the day after my last appointment with her, you know, that was pretty ironic. But you know, hey, I made it through with no serious repercussions, you know. And all is well. So I think this time will be good to really gauge how I handle the stress. You know, we're coming up on September, which this is the month of this is the month that really hits me hard of the last month before Dad died. So, you know, it's gonna be real telling how I handle it. But I think I'll be okay. I really do. I did better last year, and I think I'll do even better this year. Yesterday was the 16th anniversary of losing my mom. 10 days ago was the 2-year anniversary of losing Jet's sister, Onyx. So, you know, I'm handling things decently. And I'm not spiraling like I used to. I am allowing myself to feel all the emotions, the sadness, but I'm also feeling the joys that I remember with my parents, and of course with Onyx. I miss that big girl. She was a funny girl. Losing her so suddenly was such a shock, but I know I didn't do anything wrong. You know, same thing with my mom. You know, I did the best I could when she was having all her problems back in 2008. But I was not in the best of health at that time either, so I couldn't be there for her as much as I was when Daddy went through his trials. But I was there for her as much as I could be. And I was there with her right before she did die. So, and I was out here with Dad for the, 10 days to 2 weeks before she died. So, I was able to be out here for Mom and also for Dad. And I know I've done the best I could in the situation. So that's a big change for me, is I know the difference now, and I've stopped berating myself for things that I did or didn't do. Don't get me wrong. I probably will always feel some guilt at Dad's death. I'm not sure I will ever be able to fully absolve myself of that. But I'm still trying, and I am working on it. But I know a lot more now than I did 3 years ago, and I'm living a lot more now than I did 3 years ago. I'm living a lot more now than I did a year ago. So, like I said, hopefully, by the end of the year, I can stop my therapy. As terrifying as that is to me, and as much as I don't want to say goodbye to Jasmine, there comes a day you have to. You're not meant to be in therapy for life. The whole point of therapy is to get better and to come to an end. And with her having a new baby now, and I know she has a very full caseload, and I think I'll be able to take that stress off of her, knowing that I'll be okay. And if something comes up later in the future, that doesn't mean I can't go back on a temporary basis. So that'll be all right too. But I know I'm in a much better place now because of her, and she has seen the progress and the efforts that I've put into becoming the person I am now. And I have seen the fruits of the labor that I have put out. I've seen the changes, and I am very proud of all the hard work I've done. So all right, well, this is almost 35 minutes long, so I am going to get off here. Time for me to feed my little girl Jet, because she thinks she's starving to death. So I will see you all later. I thank you for watching this and listening to me ramble. And I hope y'all have a good night. Take care, and I love y'all. Bye.